My fiancé was inside City Hall, marrying the girl we'd once put through college on a scholarship. I arrived late, the family registry clutched in my hand. Through the door drifted their voices. In 5 days you're marrying Sophie. You just signed a license with me, what happens to her? Chase brushed the tip of her nose, every inch the doting lover, smiling without answering. My fingers loosened, the registry slipped and slapped against the floor. I speed-dialed my family. I'll go through with the arranged marriage. Before we continue, please subscribe and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. The call had barely ended when Chase pushed through the door. The instant our eyes met, his brows pinched. What are you doing here? What am I doing here? We'd set this date half a month ago, our license day, yet he was turning it back on me. It struck me as almost funny. For him, I'd gone to war with my own blood. And this was where it left me. I smiled. I came to congratulate you. May you two live happily ever after. Then I lifted my phone and snapped photos. Willow held the marriage certificate high, nestling her head against Chase's shoulder, radiant as any bride. Chase looked mortified, the smile frozen at the corner of his mouth. I bit back tears and twisted my lips into something that passed for a grin. What comes next? Should I walk you to the bridal suite? Willow's smile was honey-sweet. Sophie, you're not jealous, are you? It's April Fool's. We're just messing with you. Once the novelty wears off, we'll file for divorce. Tears shimmered on my lashes as I glared at her, done with pretending. April Fools? Then happy April Fools to you. I gathered every ounce of strength into my palm and cracked it across her face. Through clenched teeth I added, like your April Fool's gift? Chase caught Willow and wheeled on me. Sophie, what the hell? Willow pressed a hand to her flaming cheek and burst into loud sobs. He folded her into his arms, soothing her. At last I exhaled. Like my gift? If one isn't enough, I've got more. Chase seized my wrist and shoved me back. Are you done yet? Apologized to Willow. Over the years I'd apologized for everything. Soup too salty, I said sorry. Coffee cold, I said sorry. Bathwater not ready on time, I said sorry. My patience hadn't won his gratitude, only pushed him until he dared marry someone else. This time, no apology. When I stayed silent, Willow swiped at her tears and whimpered, I wouldn't dare ask Sophie to say sorry. I'll apologize instead. I'm sorry, Chase's face darkened further. You slap her and she ends up apologizing, classic Sophie. Why didn't I see how vicious you are? So that's who I am in his eyes. Trembling, I stared at him through a watery veil. From a studio apartment to this mansion, 10 years walking beside him. The seed money for his startup had come from selling my own condo. His first major contract had come because I begged for it halfway across the country. To keep payroll lean, I worked a dozen jobs, 12-hour days. In the hardest week, we split one bowl of plain congee in that rented room. Back then he'd hold me so hard it felt he wanted to fuse us into one body. He swore he'd build me a beautiful future, make me the happiest bride. Love was all we needed, we believed. After everything, I thought nothing could break us. Yet the moment he made it, he married the scholarship student we'd sponsored. Making a fool of me. 3 months earlier, Willow was finishing her senior year internship. She couldn't land a job, so I slipped her into Chase's company. HR rejected her, but Chase overruled them. Back then she'd greet me shyly, "Hi, Sophie." I never saw her as a threat, I thought Chase and I were unbreakable. Little by little Chase grew busier, and shadier, about my dropping by the office. When he began taking Willow on every business trip, I finally confronted him. At first he'd fob me off with sweet talk. Later he answered only with a stony mask. Every concession I made gave him license to push further. He moved Willow's desk inside his corner office, the two came and left as one. At the company retreat they shared a single boba straw while the crowd cheered, and the moment I stepped away they toasted each other with a shared champagne toast. Cowboys whistled and hollered. When I wasn't there, the vibe only got rowdier. Behind my back, the staff nicknamed Willow Little Lady. Inside the office, they massaged each other's feet and shoulders, bodies glued. He spoon-fed her the soup I'd delivered, bite by bite. On Chishi, they shared a candlelit dinner. For her birthday, he threw a rager with all his brothers. Halloween found them in the States. Valentine's Day in Paris. He came home later and later, then stopped coming at all. When I raged, he didn't even bother looking guilty. She's our scholarship kid, nothing more. She's family. Every CEO needs loyal lieutenants if the company's going to grow. The wife of Chase can't be this small-minded, can she? His face looked stranger every day. Sometimes I felt I no longer knew the man. I don't remember how I got home from City Hall. Inside the door, my legs folded and I crumpled to the floor, too numb to move for the longest time. I walked into the study and hunted down every memory we'd ever made. While we'd been long distance, he had filled an entire love journal in his own handwriting. I flipped it open at random, every page dripped with affection. Only one more day until I see my baby. I'm already wired tonight. My sweet girl's sick and it's killing me. I'd take the fever for her if I could. I'm taking off tomorrow, surprise visit. Saying goodbye to my baby today wrecked me. I swear once we graduate, we're never doing long distance again. I opened the photo album next. In every shot we looked young, stupidly happy. Gifts from our dating days already swallowed half the room. I picked up a few at random, and fragments of bliss flickered through my mind. Before I noticed, tears were sliding off my chin. I spread my fingers, feeling something trickle straight through them. I carted every souvenir to the backyard and set the pile on fire. As the ashes curled, my heart died along with them. My phone buzzed, Willow. She was hysterical, voice hoarse. Sophie, get to Eastbrook A Wing, room 318. Chase was in a crash. I floored the accelerator all the way to the hospital. Just as I reached for the door, I glanced through the small glass pane. Willow was pouting, asking Chase for a kiss. He hesitated 2 seconds, then sealed his mouth to hers. My fists clenched so hard my nails sliced into my palms. They stayed locked together a full 3 minutes. I was about to leave when Willow flung the door wide, a smug arc on her lips. Sophie's here. Why stand outside? Guilt flickered across Chase's face, then vanished. I'm fine, really, he said. I swept my gaze over him, only a scraped finger. I stared at Willow, voice sharp. A paper cut and you drag me here? Tears spilled down her cheeks like a faucet. You're disappointed he isn't half dead, is that it? Heat rushed to my face. She dove straight into Chase's arms. Chase eyed me warily, afraid I'd lash out again. I measured every word. Chase, we're done. I'm moving out today. Wedding's off. He ground his teeth. Stop the drama. Over my dead body. Willow sobbed louder. Sophie, is this because of me? There's nothing between Chase and me, please don't break up with him. Looking at her lying face turned my stomach. I bolted to the restroom, stared at my haggard reflection, and realized my period was a month late. I raced back to the hospital. In the consultation room, the test came back positive. I rested a hand on my flat belly, throat stinging. Marriage and a baby, double joy, once upon a time. Now. Schedule the termination procedure. Everything looks healthy. Are you sure? I nodded through tears. Minutes later I was wheeled into the OR. Tears tracked into my hair. I rested 2 days and checked myself out. Back at the mansion, moans greeted me the instant I stepped inside. I followed the noise to the master bedroom, the door was ajar. 2 bodies moved in rhythm. The sight dazed me for only a second before cold clarity returned. I lifted my phone and filmed through the gap. When they finished, I retreated to the foyer, then re-entered loudly. Chase was in the kitchen, Willow beside him like a perfect wife, chopping herbs. He greeted me as if nothing had happened. Perfect timing, dinner's almost ready. I stayed blank. Pass. Enjoy. I strode to the master bedroom and started packing. Downstairs their giggles floated up. Chase, feed me. Quit it. If you don't, I'll starve myself. Fine, open wide. While they played house, I dragged my suitcase toward the door. Chase caught my arm. Where do you think you're going? Clearing space. Starting today, Willow can move in. Chase's brows drew together. How did you know she was moving in? A sour smile tugged at my mouth. I gripped the suitcase harder. He blocked the entrance. Willow's only moving in for work. That doesn't mean you leave. You're my fiancé, where else would you stay? I shoved with all my strength. He didn't budge. We're over. I never agreed. Get out of my way. We locked eyes, neither yielding. Chase's face drained of color, his tell before an explosion. Suddenly he grabbed my collar and hauled me toward the basement stairs. The wedding is days away and you want to run? Over an April Fool's joke? 10 years, Sophie, you think I'll let you walk? Willow's been our scholarship for years, she's family. Treat her like a little sister. Why can't you handle that? Little sister? The kind who shares his bed? Ice spread through my veins. Stay down here and cool off. Bang. The basement door slammed. He pocketed my phone. The cellar reeked of mildew and darkness. Fresh from surgery, my body was weak. Within minutes hives flared across my skin, breathing turned into a rasp. I hauled myself up, hammered the door with every ounce left, screaming the same words over and over. Chase, I'm dying, let me out. I can't breathe down here. Don't leave me, open the door. The shouting pulled Chase to the basement threshold. He stared down, impatient. Stop screaming. I told you to cool off. Throw another fit and I'm still not letting you out. I rolled up my sleeve and showed him the rash. Look, Chase, hives. They're burning. Let me out or I'll die down here. His gaze lingered on my arm. For a heartbeat I saw softness. His fingers brushed the lock, tapping the code. The next second Willow hurried in and slapped his hand away. Chase, have you lost your mind? He froze. If you free her she'll bolt. She wants to dump you, what happens to the wedding? Chase's hand dropped, the pity in his eyes vanished. Willow's right. We're getting married soon, you can't walk out on me. He hooked an arm around Willow's shoulders. Oh, and Willow will be your bridesmaid at the ceremony. Tears pooled as I looked at him. Chase, we're finished. I won't marry you. His chest heaved, fury reddening his face. Break up with me? In your dreams. At noon he brought a tray of food. I dumped the entire plate over his head. He exploded. One hand clamped my throat, the other scooped food off the floor and shoved it into my mouth. A grain of rice shot into my windpipe. I choked, coughing until I collapsed. Chase slammed the door and left. My nerves snapped and I sobbed on the concrete. That evening he returned with dinner twice. I refused both. Keep me locked up and I'll starve myself. He studied me for a long moment, voice suddenly gentle. Sophie, locking you up is the last thing I wanted. Don't hurt yourself. Seeing the crack in his armor, I seized it. I hugged his arm and whispered, let me out, I swear I won't run. A flicker of pain crossed his eyes. He stroked my cheek. Promise you'll stay, and I'll open the door right now. Willow burst in waving Chase's phone. Chase, call for you. He took it and stepped outside. Willow smirked at me. Think he'll free you? Dream on. He stopped loving you ages ago. He's only clinging to your family name. We're legally married. I won't divorce him. You can stage any wedding you want, Sterling is my title, not yours. I glared, shaking with hate. I paid your tuition for 10 years, and this is how you repay me? Where's your conscience? She sniffed. Conscience? What's that worth? Once I'm Sterling, I'm set for life. Footsteps echoed, Willow hurled herself against the wall. The instant Chase walked in she turned, blood trickling from her forehead. Chase rushed over, barking, "What happened?" Willow peeked at me, then whimpered, shaking her head. "Sophie pushed you, didn't she? Stop protecting her." She buried her face in his shirt, sobbing. "You're both my benefactors, I hate seeing you fight." "Forget it, it was my clumsiness." Her voice brimmed with grievance. Chase's eyes, bloodshot, speared me. "Sophie, you've gone too far, hitting Willow?" I waved my hands frantically. "I didn't," she slammed herself into the wall. He gave a cold laugh. "You think I'm 3? I never imagined you'd stoop this low." I pounded the floor, voice cracking. "Why won't you believe me?" Willow wailed louder. Chase spared me one last disappointed glance, then scooped Willow up. "Refuse to eat? Fine. I won't see you again until the wedding." He strode out without looking back, no matter how I screamed. Willow's eyes gloated. In this war, she'd crowned herself victor. The long-awaited wedding day arrived. At dawn, Chase dragged me to the ballroom's bridal suite and ordered stylists to paint, curl, and stuff me into the gown. Willow, dressed in an identical bridesmaid gown, lounged beside me, snatching every hairpiece the makeup artist chose for me and pinning it on herself. Just before the procession, I gulped a glass of water and blacked out. Willow had hidden me away. With the bride missing, chaos erupted. Willow volunteered to step in. "Chase, I picked the same gown as Sophie, let me walk the aisle for her." The coordinator kept radioing for a decision. Chase clenched his jaw and agreed. No one from my side attended. The day he and Willow filed their marriage license, I'd quietly told every friend and relative to boycott. Following the officiant's cues, they completed the ritual. Willow beamed, smile never slipping. Chase frowned, distracted, his thoughts clearly elsewhere. "Do you take Chase to be your lawful husband?" Before the officiant could finish, Willow bounced on her toes, squealing, "I do." Chase dropped to one knee like a robot and slid the ring onto her finger. She flung herself around his neck, too giddy to notice that his face was stone-cold blank. The giant screen flickered to life, playing the wedding video I'd wrapped for them, my parting gift. Inside the clip, the two of them in bed. I'd set it to loop and snapped the power button clean off. The footage hit the air, and the room detonated in gasps. After 3 loops, I walked up the aisle through a minefield of dropped jaws. "I'm Sophie, Chase's ex-fiancée. I caught him cheating. The bride using my name, Willow, is the scholarship kid I bankrolled for 10 years and the mistress he kept on the side. This isn't a wedding, it's our breakup party." A collective hiss swept the ballroom. Now I get it, bride's not Sophie, yet they used her name. So the two of them were sneaking around. Sterling Tech CEO cheating? This'll hit every tabloid before dessert. Everyone knows the decade-long love story, never saw this fallout coming. The spiked water they'd handed me earlier sat untouched. I'd banked on Willow's theatrics. Since she craved the Sterling crown, I let her have it, so I could yank it off at the height of her happiest moment. Chase clamped onto my arm, dragging me toward the curtain like a madman. I flicked a lighter and torched the back of his hand. He yelped and let go. "Sophie, stop this, everyone is watching." I kept my voice level. "Do I look like I'm joking? A scene this perfect? I'm not walking away." Willow sobbed, clutching his sleeve. For the first time he shook her off, irritation raw on his face. She froze, stunned that the golden boy had finally snarled. Reporters and influencers flooded the stage. I sat center seat and answered every question. After days of rehearsal in my head, my pulse never spiked. When the last mic clicked off, I straightened my dress and exited the circus. 30 minutes later the hashtags exploded. Hashtag Sterling CEO's wedding turned breakup banquet. Hashtag 10-year romance in ruins. Sterling Tech braces for PR nightmare. Hashtag Sterling suppliers jump ship. Partners scramble to terminate. I booked the next flight out of Eastbrook. From the window seat I watched the skyline shrink until it was a streak of gold on black water. Goodbye, my 10 years. Goodbye, Chase. After Sophie vanished, Chase dialed her number until his thumb cramped. She'd already blacklisted him. He tore through the city, blasting past a dozen red lights back to the mansion. Room by room he hurled doors open, her clothes, her books, even the scent of her skin had been erased. On the dining table lay a positive pregnancy test and a termination procedure record. Chase sank to his knees, slapping himself until his ears rang. He stood in the hollow living room and screamed her name so loud the crystal chandelier trembled. No answer came. That night he stretched across the bed, stroking her vacant pillow as if the warmth might still be there. With eyes shut he watched their life roll like an old film, startup days in a studio apartment, splitting one bowl of congee, him apologizing for being broke while she laughed and called herself the happiest girl alive. Later, when the company stabilized, she stepped back to cook for him. In every peak she celebrated, in every valley she shouldered losses beside him. They had fused into one bloodstream, something deeper than romance. His nose burned, tears slipped hot into his ears. Morning brought an avalanche of emails, every subject line a cancellation. Sterling Tech stock went into free fall. Shareholders stormed the boardroom demanding explanations. Staff handed in resignations en masse, and competitors pounced on clients like vultures. The company imploded. Chase white-knuckled through 30 sleepless nights, but problems only multiplied. 1 month later Sterling Tech officially collapsed. He surfaced drowning in debt, auctioned the mansion, and moved into a rented studio above a laundromat. Nights blurred into a whiskey haze in dive bars. One evening he spotted Willow draped across some stranger's lap, martini glass in hand. He burst into wild laughter that morphed into ugly sobs. He'd torched the best thing in his life for a girl who changed men like playlists. On his way out he grabbed her wrist. City Hall, tomorrow, sign the divorce. Willow smirked, lazy and triumphant. $100,000 or no signature. Chase's jaw dropped. What? She stuck her tongue out. No $100K, no divorce. No matter how he begged, she repeated the price like a broken ATM. Rage detonated. He backhanded her into the brick wall, then locked his fingers around her throat. Her face flamed scarlet. Chase's eyes were bloodshot slits. You used every gutter trick to gut Sophie and me, think I didn't notice? Willow managed a strangled laugh. Flies don't land on uncracked eggs. Don't play the saint, cheater. You're the one who stepped out. Chase went corpse white, venom dripping from every word. You seduced me. So what if I did? I'll choke the life out of you. His knuckles whitened, tightening until her eyes rolled back. Finally, when only a thread of breath remained, Willow gave in. The instant he loosened his grip, she collapsed to the floor, gulping mouthfuls of air. The next day, they completed the divorce paperwork without a hitch. I woke in a hawthorn estate in my hometown. The first thing I saw was a strikingly handsome face. It was Adrian, the man my family had matched me with. He teased, so you're finally awake, sleeping beauty. I stretched languidly. Not at the office? Remote work's fine. You haven't been feeling well, I wanted to keep you company. I made breakfast, come eat. Looking at him, I felt utterly grounded. Months passed, and Chase still tracked me down. Ages seemed to have settled on him in the interim, his hair disheveled, eye sockets sunken, 2 dark moons beneath his eyes. On the estate grounds Adrian stepped in front of me. State your business, he warned. Voice trembling, Chase's gaze slid past Adrian to me. I've come for my wife. Watch your tongue, Adrian said. Sophie is my fiancée. He pointed toward the gates. I'm asking you to leave my property. Chase blurted, I'm not going until I talk to Sophie. Adrian glanced at me. I spoke evenly. Sooner or later this has to end. Adrian nodded. I'll be inside. Call if you need me. In the courtyard only the two of us remained. He reached for my hand, I flung it off without hesitation. Sophie, come home with me. That witch seduced me, I've already divorced her. I was wrong. Give me one chance to make it up to you, please? We have 10 years together. For their sake, forgive me this once, okay? A cold laugh escaped me. You're tainted now. More importantly, I don't love you anymore. I have someone I love, don't trespass on my life. He shook his head frantically, near breakdown. No. Tell me you don't love him. You truly love me. My lips curved slightly. Chase, I honestly don't love you. Stop flattering yourself. The moment you cheated, any way back closed forever. He beat his chest in despair. 10 years. A whole decade. You can just discard that? You're heartless. It was the funniest joke I'd ever heard. I'm heartless? That's rich. I turned away, furious. Sorry, that came out wrong. It's all my fault. But I can't bear to lose those 10 years. That's your problem. Leave. Now. I walked back inside and shut the door. I don't know how much time passed before it began to rain. From the window I saw him kneeling in the downpour, bedraggled. I closed the window and ignored him. Suddenly my vision blacked out and I fainted. When I came to, I was in a hospital bed. Adrian beside me was frantic, pacing like a caged lion. Only after I insisted did he tell me I needed a kidney transplant. He clasped my hand. I'll find a donor. Stay positive, everything will be all right. That same day he got tested, but wasn't a match. He made hundreds of calls, rallying thousands to be tested. Then Chase burst in, waving a compatibility report, tears of excitement on his cheeks. Sophie, I'm a match. Soon I underwent surgery, it went flawlessly, and I was discharged a week later. A month later, I was walking down an alley when a shadow darted out and blocked my path. Willow. She clutched a knife, eyes glittering with malice. Sophie, why do you have it all, men devoted to you, one after another, while I can't hold on to a single one? I left Chase. Do you know what my life became? Drinking with countless men every night, every dollar scraped up snatched by my mother for my brother. Is it so hard to marry rich? And you had to drive Chase into bankruptcy. I envy, no, hate, you, Sophie. I don't want to live, but I'm taking you with me. She lunged, blade flashing. At the last second Chase sprang from nowhere and kicked the knife away. He seized her collar and hoisted her up. Don't want to live? Fine, I'll oblige. Willow thrashed. Let go of me. Chase hauled her onto the bridge. In one motion he heaved her over the rail into the river. After a brief struggle she stilled and vanished. Chase walked into the nearby precinct and surrendered. Convicted of intentional homicide, he received life without parole. From jail he sent word, he wanted to see me. Because he had saved my life, I agreed. Across the glass he sat, tears streaming. Sophie, this ending is best for both of us. I'm doing what I can to atone. I don't expect forgiveness, just hope you'll live well, live happy. I nodded calmly, then turned and walked away. After that day, the name Chase never entered my life again. Hand in hand with Adrian, I strode forward. Thank you for listening to today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like and share. We look forward to your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more gripping tales. See you next time.